Howdy, folks. Time is precious and oh so fleeting. Yet we have so many interesting people to meet and remarkable things to see. Join me, won't you?
It's the Ultimate Cleveland Show.
It starts now. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. And welcome to the beautiful state of Ohio. She's round on the ends, she's high in the middle, she's hot and she's cold, she's a little dirty, but she's cleaner than she used to be, and she's the place we call home. Did you know that the word Ohio comes from the Iroquois word Oyo, meaning Grand River? I didn't, but according to a BuzzFeed article that I skimmed, that's true. Did you know that Ohio also has the largest Amish population out of every state? So shout out to you Amish. Although I suppose if you're watching this, you are not very good at being Amish. The Buckeye State is simply brimming with interesting history and trivia, some of which I'll be sharing with you today as we celebrate National Ohio Day, a pseudo-holiday that I did not actually know was a thing. But as a proud Ohioan, I felt it was my duty to learn more about this holiday, and I did. And it took me on quite a harrowing journey that I'd like to share with you now. Hey, happy National Ohio Day, everyone. National Ohio Day commemorates us becoming the 17th state in the Union. But as for why it's November 2nd, that gets a little hazier. Because if you're in the mood to get a little nerdy about it, and I am always in the mood to get a little nerdy about it, as to precisely when Ohio officially became a state, there is some discrepancy. And perhaps even, dare I say it, some controversy. It's true that it was the month of November in 1802 when a group of people from the Northwest Territory, which was all of this back then, met in Chillicothe, our state's first capital, to form a constitution and a state government. But they didn't actually send their petition for admittance to the Union until November 29th, which is not November 2nd. Congress then approved Ohio's petition for statehood on February 19th, 1803, also not November 2nd. And although that act of Congress officially made Ohio a state, they decided not to celebrate it until March 1st. Because that was when the Ohio legislature actually met for the first time. Are we all clear so far? I hope so, because this is where it starts getting a little convoluted. Fast forward to 1952, when some teachers visiting the Library of Congress were going through some documents and realized that Congress had neglected to officially approve the Ohio Constitution in 1803, which they were required to do for Ohio to become a state. It was an oversight, a technicality, but it was at least considered a big enough deal at the time that Congress felt the need to pass real legislation on August 7th, 1953, officially granting statehood to Ohio once and for all. In reality, it doesn't mean a whole lot, other than it turns out we're the 48th state in the Union and only have seniority over Alaska and Hawaii, those two drifters. What it comes down to is some guys back in 1803 forgot to cross their T's and dot their I's, and I can't begrudge them that. They were using chamber pots and living off raccoon meat. They had a life expectancy of like 28. I won't condemn them for sloppy paperwork, but it does make for some interesting theorizing. For instance, if Ohio wasn't really a state until 1953, that would technically mean that 8 presidents, Grant, Hayes, Garfield, McKinley, Taft, Harding, and not one but two, count them 2 Harrisons, were constitutionally prohibited from being president. Does that nullify all the laws they signed? To try and avoid such quandaries, Congressman George Bender, the representative who introduced the legislation to correct the mistake, made the law retroactive to 1803, which would make everything that happened pre-1953 street legal. And yet, one can't help but point out the issue that Congressman Bender himself was from Ohio, a place that, at the time of his election, did not technically exist, which, one could argue, renders the legislation illegitimate. And by that logic, Ohio has still yet to achieve statehood, which would mean we still live in the Northwest Territory, subject only to the laws of the Northwest Ordinance. Amongst other considerations, we therefore cannot be taxed. Nobody try it. I'm sure somebody already has. It won't work. Just a playful thought experiment, please do not. Long story short, whichever of Ohio's many birthdays you celebrate, be it today, November 29th, February 19th, March 1st, or August 7th, I hope you have a great time doing it. And I hope you're not forgetting to include a nice tall glass of tomato juice, the actual, intentional, official beverage of Ohio. Cheers, folks! We cannot do anything right. As far as what our state beverage could be, there's obviously no shortage of options that would be better than tomato juice, but here's just a short list of some that would be less embarrassing and more appropriate. Apple cider, Great Lakes Christmas Ale, Cotton Club 50-50, Wendy's Frosties, Kamchatka Vodka, Stadium Mustard, Lawson's Chip Dip, and those are just off the top of my head. Ohio has been a real president factory. We crank them out. Interestingly enough, though, only one of those presidents managed to serve 2 full terms. That being Ulysses S., Mr. Nifty $50 bill himself, Grant. Also, 4 of them died while in office. Tough gig. Due to a variety of factors, Ohio has always been an important state politically. And what with it being election week and all again, I thought we'd take a look back at a video I made in 2020, talking about what it's like to be an Ohioan at times like this.
It's our moment in Ohio. This happens twice a decade, give or take. Politicians come to see us, 'cause their chances of election are at stake. Because Ohio's pretty even, we're a swing state and we know that's why you're here. You might not like us, but you need us, 'cause we're important every 4 years. In between elections, we're not useful to you, just a place to catch your connecting flight. You're only here because we're not quite red or quite blue, though we lean a little further to the right. Stop construction, hide graffiti, pick up the litter 'cause election day is near, and the whole world has to focus on us, 'cause we're important every 4 years. Thanks to the Electoral College, most states' results are preordained, but not here in Ohio, or Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Michigan, or Maine. So welcome, strangers, glad to have you. Please spend some money and enjoy our local beers. And just to make it perfectly clear, we're thrilled that you're all forced to be here, and the whole world has to focus on us, 'cause we're important every 4 years.
Fun fact about that segment, not to toot my own horn, but my goal with that song was to bring all of Ohio's different political factions together through laughter. And it was successful, and everything has been very harmonious ever since. It's not true, but... Abruptly switching gears, did you know that Ohio is home to the world's largest basket? It's true. Why would anyone lie about that? It's the former headquarters of the Longaberger Basket Company. It was recently renovated into a hotel, but that has since closed, and as of last year, it was back on the market at a list price of $6.5 million. So if you're a wealthy oddball looking for a unique new home with plenty of storage space and your bananas about wicker, boy, have I got a place to show you. Another thing about Ohioans is that we love our fine cuisine. Need proof? We're home not only to the first Wendy's ever, but also the first Arby's ever. We did that for you, America. You're welcome. Here in Ohio, our official state fruit is the tomato. I assume because it represents a crucial hamburger topping. But don't make the mistake of mixing up our official state fruit, the tomato, with our official native state fruit, which is something different, but also weird. I did a report on it.
So, what do you think this is, folks? An underripe potato? Perhaps a malformed pear? Well, let's take a look inside. What the? Don't panic, everyone. It's just a pawpaw, and it's supposed to look like that. I recently learned that Ohio has an official indigenous fruit called the pawpaw, and I'm embarrassed to say that I've never seen one, let alone tasted it. So to educate myself, I tracked down Gwen Rosenberg, who grows her own pawpaws in her backyard, and then sells them at her popcorn shop in Kent.
Now, would you mind telling me a little bit about the pawpaw?
It's the official native tree fruit of Ohio, and I think they made that designation in 2009.
Can I just take a moment and just apologize on behalf of Ohioans who have not experienced their native fruit so far? It's embarrassing, and I promise we'll try to remedy it.
Thank you.
What's the window for the pawpaws? How long do people have to enjoy them still?
It's a very short window of time, about 2 weeks. The texture of a pawpaw is sort of like wet, like a kiwi, so you eat it with a spoon, and then the flavor is very tropical. It kind of tastes like mango, strawberry, banana, pineapple, all in one. Once you cut into them, it's got some big seeds in the center of it, so you don't eat the seeds. They're not a handsome fruit.
Like Ohio, it might be a little rough around the edges, but it's what's inside that matters, which is also gross, but tastes good momentarily if you get there really quick. My recommendation for getting the pawpaw to take off in popularity is to put it into a microbrew. Would you consider doing that?
Yes, and I would drink all of those microbrews with Pawpaw, yes.
I'm now going to experience my first pawpaw from a safe social distance, and I will give you my verdict. I'm about to try it from over here.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. All right, my first pawpaw experience. That is really unique. That's good. It's like nothing I've ever had. Or like a fruit that can't decide what it's gonna be when it grows up. You have a pretty good native fruit, Ohio, and you're blowing it by not getting on the pawpaw bandwagon. And I respect you, and you're a part of my life moving forward. Thank you for this experience. I feel like we know each other so much better right now. I've now connected with Ohio's official indigenous fruit, and you can too, but you better hurry because they're not in season for much longer. This is Mike for 3 News, expanding your horizons. Before we move forward, I'd like to make a quick clarification. Earlier in the show, it might have sounded as though I was somehow disparaging our official state beverage, tomato juice, which could not be further from the truth. Tomato juice is just fine and has every right to be a juice. Okay, with that out of the way, we actually have a new sponsor. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Feel it. Oh, hi. Sorry. I'm Mike-Polk-Jr. You just caught me in the middle of my daily exercise workout. You see, as a regional public figure, it's important that I always look my best because the world is a stage and my body is my instrument. So how do I keep it in tune? Well, by putting in my work here at the dojo and by always rehydrating with the official state beverage of Ohio, tomato juice. Why tomato juice? Because it's chock full of all the vitamins, minerals, salt, thickness, and stingy metal aftertaste that I need to be at the peak of my game. And after a grueling workout, there's nothing quite as refreshing as slamming down a cold, tall glass of what is essentially very weak pasta sauce. That's substantial. So take it from me, Mike-Polk Jr. Whether you say tomato or tomato, be sure to say cheers with tomato juice, the official beverage of Ohio for some reason, out of everything we could have chosen. It's like I'm burping an Olive Garden. It's awful. I can't. Well, if we've learned one thing today, it's that Ohioans love to be contrary. We don't agree politically. We have the only non-rectangular state flag. And did you know that we are the only state in the union that has an official rock and roll song? Makes sense, because we have this joint here. That song, of course, being Hang On Sloopy by the McCoys, and your uncle is somewhere in a garage singing it right now. But that is not, in fact, the official Ohio State song. That would be the song Beautiful Ohio, written in 1918, sounding very much like it, and it goes a little bit like this.
Beautiful Ohio, in dreams again I see visions of what used to be.
Obviously not a real toe tapper, probably didn't pack the dance floor back in the day, but it is our state song. So, as we come to a close of this Pro-Ohio episode, I thought that I would do a rendition of our official state song, even though no one asked me to, while simultaneously more facts about the state of Ohio are presented. Oh, they're already starting. Okay, the facts are already starting. Hold on, let me start the song. Drifting in a current down a moonlit stream, while above the heavens in their glory gleam, while the moon's on high, sings a lullaby, dreaming of a paradise of love divine, dreaming of a pair of eyes that look in mine. Beautiful Ohio, dreams again I see, visions of what used to be. Beautiful Ohio, dreams again I see, visions of what used to